Hey guys, I'm Genie here, aka Mustached. I'm here to review the movie Jurassic World Dominion. If you end up enjoying this full review, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also make sure to check out those links in the description. The first will head you over to my new petition to help smaller YouTubers be featured on their own page, which will be sent to Susan, the CEO of YouTube, as well as YouTube team itself. Second to my Patreon, third to my PayPal, and fourth to my Discord. Any donations and support are greatly appreciated and help support me and the channel, and shilling will be reminded at the end of the review. With that being said, let's get into Jurassic World Dominion. Alright, so of course I've seen the trailers for this for a bit here, and this was prompted to be the last Jurassic World movie, as well as the precision end of Jurassic Park, from park to world, and its ending. So, with that, I think that, based off of everything I've seen here, I think that that is a safe place to say that this series has ended. I'm surprised that it even made it this far, to be quite honest. They managed to make it quick enough to maintain all of their, or at least the three of their iconic the nostalgia characters, as well as the new ones, or newer ones from Jurassic World, and have the interactions and whatnot here. But as for an ending, I do think that this is a good place to end it, considering just how bizarre it was starting to get, and starting to pull away from the whole dinosaur angle with like human cloning that was taking place even in the previous movie. Obviously they had to take that plot point and somehow figure a way to insert that into here, so this is sort of the continuation of that weird cloning human stuff here as well. With that said, let's get into the plot and talk about it as objectively as possible. So we start on a boat, and the boat gets attacked by one of the lower fish dinosaurs, and the narrator, who is, I believe, Claire, is narrating this. She talks about how dinosaurs and humans have now intermingled in a way that's a bit, chaotic, but they're trying to make it work. Humans are at the very least. Dinosaurs are just doing what dinosaurs do, but now in a more roam-free type of scenario. We cut to Nevada to see her and one other individual sneaking into one of the buildings to save a held dinosaur. They get out, they get chased, and they're chased by some, the people that owned the building, but she uses the Triceratops that are sort of rampaging to her advantage and make her way out. But she wants further help away from all of this. But we cut to elsewhere before we can move on too much, and we see Chris Pratt, who plays Owen in this once again, who's leading his own herd of dinosaurs with horses and a few other men, but he's like falling behind with one of the dinosaurs and guiding it back to a path. And then we cut to the clone, whose name is Macy in this, and she hears a noise in the woods, so she's a little bit like, what up there? Or suspecting that it might be something that we might recognize later on anyway. So Claire and him and her all reunite, the three of them, and we realize what that little noise was all about. It was Blue, the raptor that Owen was training here. So he, or she I should say, since all the dinosaurs are female from, how they reproduce based off of the earlier Jurassic Parks, She has a baby on her own, since, that's a thing that they were able to do even prior, but, they still treat it like it's a surprise somehow that can happen. But, yeah, Blue has a smaller raptor now. I forget what they name it. They name it something. Anyway, point being is that Macy feels stuck in her home because she wants to get out there and be the full, authentic teenage clone that she ought to be, I guess. Meanwhile, we cut to two random kids who see a flock of bugs fly at them, and then they hide inside the building. So, we cut to the aftermath of that and see the arrival of one. I wrote her name a little bit later on. Sadler, the first of the three returning originals from Jurassic Park. She's already invested in wanting to help, so she goes to visit our second nostalgia character, Mr. Grant. So Grant and Sadler are together. Sadler prompts him to say, "Come on, we gotta, do the thing that we usually do. Go out there and deal with the dinosaurs." And the big bad evil corporation, because of course there always is Biosign or something along those lines. Malcolm, the third and final nostalgia character, is here already working under them. But he's the one preaching that things, even in the previous movie, were terrible and that, things are bad and we let this happen, which, they technically did, so, always right but always chaotic. Ever the same character throughout, that being Malcolm. Anyway, we arrive once again in Pennsylvania to see Macy with the blue raptor. And Owen is trying to keep an eye on the two of them, but they get a little sidetracked when they leave the house, and then a bunch of people are sneaking in earlier, so they grab a hold of both Macy and the small raptor, with Owen wanting to get them back. So he grabs his gun as well as getting Claire on board. Obviously she's on board. And they meet with one of their previous characters from the other previous Jurassic World. I don't really remember his name either. He was the guy who's constantly screaming. So I'll call, for the rest of the review, I'll call him the Scream Guy, because I honestly don't remember his name, sadly. But he's a bit more subdued in this performance. Then again, he's given a lot less to work with, though. He's not as much in this film as, I don't think so anyway. Which makes sense since there's a lot more characters going on here. Anyway, we see our big old antagonist of the movie, Dustin. And Ramsey is the one who sort of guides them once they arrive at the biotech building. So, as I mentioned before, we have once again Malcolm warning the younger generation of, we kind of, he kind of drops the title of, this is their dominion, afterwards, when the little prep meeting is over, he warns them of, or at least Sadler, of, what's the deep down, but the nostalgia characters don't end there, because Henry's once back again. One of the workers at the original Jurassic Park. Of course, he's here as well, then, that is the case. He was in, I believe, the previous movie as well, at the end of it-ish, if I remember that correctly. Nonetheless, we clearly see pretty early on that Dustin is the big evil, wants the money, doesn't really care, what it's affecting. They wanted people to pretty much depend on their organization to live. Excuse me. So Owen and Claire, who are still in tow for their daughter, enter this fight club elsewhere. Claire meets with our new heroine. I'll just call her Pilot because I don't remember her name either, honestly. And I didn't write it down. I don't remember when she introduces herself in the movie. I could probably Google it real quick while keeping my notes up, though. That'd be nifty. So excuse me while I do that. I do apologize for this. Just looking it up real quick. Where are the actors? Let's see. Oh, come on. Hold on. Give me a second here. Kayla is her name. There we go. Apologies for that. So, Kayla the Pilot. Got it. Okay. So, she's our new, sort of intro character here that will play the role of getting everyone out when it's convenient. She even later on saves some people, so we'll get to that. Anyway, Kayla's there, in for the money initially, and then sort of gets attached via seeing the bad stuff sort of carry on with the clone, Macy. So, as they're trying to escape, they have a few other people with them, the good guys anyway. So they all have guns, they're trying to arrest the bad guys, and the bad guys have these, like, tracker things on the raptors that, like, when you pinpoint them, this is made a point in one of the previous Jurassic World movies where you, like, pinpoint and the raptors go after that person. So, they have their guns, and they have the raptors there, and the raptors are let out, and these chuckle fucks do nothing with their guns that they're holding. They just run away. I guess they're not allowed to kill dinosaurs that are ready to kill them? Like, what the fuck? I don't understand. Anyway, Claire chases and catches this bad lady that's in line with work with Dustin there. She makes her way to the rooftops, avoiding the tracking raptors, and Owen's, like, doing his own thing, avoiding more of them as well. While their escape is in progress, Owen is tracked by, you know, two raptors, but then we see two T-Rexes, because of course there has to be a T-Rex in a Jurassic Park World movie. And again, like in the previous World movies, they seem to have a weird inclination to, like, kill someone randomly. For, like, oh, that guy got it bad, like, what did that guy do? Like, kind of that kind of kill. Like, there's just this guy on the, like, one of those things you ride, and, like, one of the T-Rex just picks him up and eats him, like, and everyone else is, like, still kind of, like, scrambling away. Owen manages to get to a helicopter. All the while, we cut back to Sadler and Grant, who get sort of thrown into the deep base. Macy comes into contact with Henry, and there, you know, he makes his, like, little speech about, like, the mistakes he has made and wanting to atone for what he has allowed to happen. Here we see Owen and Grant and Sadler go after the sample of, like, the bugs to, like, try to eradicate them, because like bugs have a pretty bad record of like, you know, spreading and killing stuff. Well, they make that even more explicit in this movie. But anyways, the alarm sets off and everyone's in full force now. But Macy heads off on her own, and she is the one who conveniently bumps into Grant and Sadler. So Dustin wants to, and the rest of the bad guys wants to stop them and shut down their progress, obviously. All the while, the plane that Kayla is flying gets hit by a flying dinosaur, and Claire heads down first, and Owen and Kayla end up heading further away. Excuse me. So Sadler, Owen, and Macy get helped by the worker guy. What was his name? I said it earlier in this review. The one that's not Dustin, the other guy that was giving them the tour. Anyway, Claire breaks free, or tries to, and she hides from a big dinosaur underwater. All the while, Owen and Kayla get out of the plane, and they're chased by a winged raptor, or whatever the dinosaur specifically this is. So this time Owen is the one that gets saved, and we get them in the elevator cage, so now they're safe. Meanwhile, Sadler and Grant talk with Macy for a brief moment here. Dustin shuts off their ride as they're trying to progress forward. All the while, Dustin fires Malcolm, and then Malcolm's like, hey, I'm going to expose you in front of all these people who, oddly enough, after hearing what he has to say, kind of just keep working. This is like the most weird part of the movie, if I'm being completely honest. They're just like, they hear all of this, and it just lines up of like, yeah, you ever wonder why you're getting hired so quickly and why this scheme is like keeping you online, so you don't really think about like wanting to leave because of your fast, rate of getting promoted. And yeah, sure enough, it doesn't really seem to do anything. It's so weird. Anyway, Owen and Kayla avoid another T-Rex, who is now in tow to be versus the Allosaurus, I believe the name of the dinosaur, which I think we've seen this versus match, and in every instance it's like the T-Rex gets help from another dinosaur, and they both take out that dinosaur of the Allosaurus. So of course I was already starting to see that they're going to do that again. So very repetitive material here in that regard of like what the dinosaurs are going to end up sort of doing at the end anyway. So anyway, Sadler and Grant move in. And Malcolm is with them now. All the while, they have to deal with their own evasion of dinosaurs. We cut back to Claire, who sees these things just moving in. Starts some moving in herself. Owen comes in with Kayla, and they join up with her eventually. Meanwhile, we see our big bad Dustin go after the insects and start burning them. So we see the flaming bugs flying outside, and everything's going nuts as the dinosaurs are below, and everything's like the underground area is being warned, and people are, fumbling around. This is also where our two groups finally, after, their two separate stories, also pretty conveniently though, but still they finally all unite as a collective unit. So I'll just call them the collective group for the simplicity, or like the group of them. Or the good guys, for simplicity's sake. But the Allosaurus is back though. So the good guys climb up, and Malcolm stays behind to use the flame trick that we've seen time and time again. But this time he shoves it into the dinosaur's mouth to, combat it for the time being. And they fight their way as they're, in this room. And the building is in its last confinement of, go here for the safety. So the good guys move along, and this is where our bad guy Dustin learns about Ramsey, that's his name, the other tour guide who's helping them throughout. So we get our little groups. Sadler and Claire are moving together to help remove the bugs. This is a weird line because Sadler was the one here earlier, and I believe she was the one who said that there would be no bugs, which pretty shit writing in that sequence, considering that she was the one there earlier. So shrug. I don't know why they try to do that, but okay. Anyway, so from Sadler, they turn off the power, and Macy helps with the raptor, get the raptor in line with, the other raptor, because they were in the building too. And the power begins to reboot pretty quickly. So they decide our two ladies will cut off the power permanently with their own more permanent solution of just taking an axe to it. So the bad guy complies and moves away. But gets caught by a bunch of small dinos and gets his just desserts. So, Kayla gets her new ride, and the rest of the group meets up with Henry, and he says that he kind of reinstates, what he's trying to do. So, with Macy there, she kind of gets everyone else on board to, say, hey, he's trying to atone, just let him atone. But that's not the end of it, because of course it's not. Our group is now outside of the building, trying to get to the helicopter. The T-Rex just so happens to get to them, but the Allosaurus also happens to get to them, and the two dinos clash. And during their clash, the third big dinosaur, the one that was chasing Claire up into the water, also just somehow finds its way there. And the big dinosaur with wings and claws and the T-Rex team up together to once again slay the Allosaurus while everyone else scrambles to get onto the helicopter and fly off. So we scramble everyone on board. The dinosaurs celebrate as they do. Grant and Sadler share their kiss after however many years they've just been on and off and doing whatever. And Claire retakes over the narrative and talks about how everyone is doing, how the dinosaurs have been given this place after some adjustments to be their permanent sanctuary and to have no human interference, hopefully. Have Henry do his atonement and, treat the the insect problem. Have Owen and Claire have their moment with Blue and Blue's baby. And the movie ends with dinosaurs and animals walking side by side about how this new world is entering its new and final stage of Jurassic World Dominion. And, you know, there's a little bit of fumbling here and there, but overall, I would say, yeah, I guess this is an okay finale for, you know, the weird bits of, like, the things that they had to keep in line with, like, again, the human clone thing. It's definitely the most bizarre angle that I think Jurassic World introduced and didn't need to, but, you know, just trying to keep that in track, and trying to make it mean something a little bit more here is what they tried to do here a little bit. Of course, the nostalgia characters, you know, always in favor of them being integrated into a plot, so it is good to see the characters not just, you know, appear and, you know, be there. They're actually a part of the story, or I should say one of the two stories, because the new characters are going after Macy, and Grant and Sadler are trying to take down the organization with Malcolm from within. So we got these two sort of stories integrating into one, and I think it does kind of come together with some a little fumbling here and there, but overall I would say it's alright. You know, I think it's a fine finale for what it was trying to do, from, you know, what we had previously. So I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10. Like, it has like a few obvious like hiccups here and there, but again, overall, it's alright. You know, and that's my full review of Jurassic World Dominion, and if you haven't ended up enjoying it, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure to check out those links in the description. The first will head you over to a petition to help smaller YouTubers get their own YouTube featured tab. Second, to my Patreon. Third, to my PayPal. Fourth, to my Discord. Any and all donations are greatly appreciated and help support me and the channel. And until next time, everyone, bye!